Hello and welcome to this week's Ectohead. How can we explain angels and demons and keep everyone happy? Ufology says that we're being visited by beings from another world or dimension. Time and time again, we hear that these celestial or dimensional visitors tell their human contactees or abductees that they are us from some distant future where things haven't quite gone to plan. Theology, however, says these visitors are demons or angels, manifestations of true good and evil in their purest forms. And where do we get this information? We look to the scriptures, to ancient writings, which are frankly an interpretational maze, which eventually leads to a rabbit hole of immense difficulty for anyone trying to pin down the exact meaning of an event that happened outside of our perceptual wheelhouse thousands of years ago. The world was very different back then, and we have to account for this in our interpretations. Usually, I like to give my views on these matters unencumbered by recent opinion, leaning heavily on my own experience and everything that I've read and looked at over the years. But in this instance, I decided to watch a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast, where Vance clarifies his earlier remarks on aliens being demons. After I watched a minute or so, I switched it off. Vance, it seems, is a bit more reasonable than I had at first thought. At least on the face of it. He makes the point, using his dog's perspective of the world as an example, that, likewise, we can't understand these beings. They seem like magic to us, a point I made more straightforwardly using a Bic lighter. Suffice it to say, to ancient man, aspects of our rather mundane technology would appear as magic to their simpler, less tech-savvy eyes. And that's the gap we have to bridge when trying to interpret ancient writings. Our modern minds and perspective have distanced us from our ancestors and the way they saw their environment, in ways we find difficult to grasp. And so, with the aforementioned in mind, if we apply this divide of generations to the way they perceive not only their world, but the phenomena of the unexplained against the way that we perceive the same unusual things happening centuries later, then it's clear there's a mountain of supposition that we must climb in order to reach anything like a firm conclusion. But in many ways, me and my ancestors are basically the same people, except I'm not running away when somebody ignites a Bic lighter in front of me. Ancient accounts of burning bushes, wheels within wheels, being blinded by a heavenly light, shadow beings and glowing figures can easily, in most cases, be the very same phenomena as more modern accounts of the same effects of alien visitation, be it secondary effects of ships or direct sightings of beings, be they dark or light, that even to our modern eyes are still stupefying. The nature of these experiences continues to elude us and our more modern, technically advanced brains, leaving us with more questions than answers. They come from the shadows or caves, or they appear in light or from the heavens. The classic light against dark, good against evil, and it's our limited ability to conceive anything beyond our immediate understanding of our world that marks our weakness, and similarly that of our ancestors. How can we hope to divine the meaning of these cryptic celestial signs that emanate from the minds of these angels or demons? And yet we continue to try. And through our academic fumblings, occasionally we do make breakthroughs, but they remain guesses, because more often than not, there is no bar on which to base the thesis. There is very little common frame of reference, and so much of archaeology is a shot in the dark at understanding. It's an academic empire built on what-ifs and maybes, and every now and again are clearly thrown in for good measure. It seems as though we're genetically hardwired to not see, but we must keep guessing. The problem is we've become comfortable relying on guesswork, which quickly turns into fact. And there's no denying it. It's been the stupid leading the dumb throughout our history. And yet there are those out there who believe they can understand the minds of angels and demons. Not only that, but apparently God is on their side. And with God's help, we will all go to our reward, whether we like it or not. That way of thinking is not only outrageous, It's absurd. These generals, though, they've got it all figured out. And J.D. Vance is right there in the mix. His faith a torch, lighting the way round and round in a maze of his own making, which when he eventually gets to the end of, will be greeted by a large, dark rabbit hole. Hey ho, J.D., onwards and downwards. It's lucky you've got a torch though, eh? But I'm joking just a little bit. Vance's faith is impressive. Like Hesgeth and no doubt many generals, it's both his sword, shield and armour. And history has shown us just how far man is willing to go in the name of his faith. Just look at the churches, the cathedrals, statues, art, wars, and the atrocities therein that men like Vance have left us with. Throughout the ages, men of faith have given us beauty and horror in God's name. And don't forget humanity's unshakable ability to take something as divinely, indescribably and heart-achingly beautiful as individual faith and totally fuck it up by organising it, by expanding upon it, and by breaking it till it's so beaten and bloody it can no longer be recognised. All for the purposes of power, death and destruction. This never ceases to amaze me. We're living in dangerous times. So here we get to the centre of it. J.D. Vance tells us aliens are demons, or that they could be angels or demons, and that's where we agree. Where we disagree, however, is what to do with that information. Vance, Hesketh and their military and political cohort believe, if we're to give the rumours any credence, that they are on the by now well-trodden path of holy war, that by warring they can bring about the correct ancient predicted conditions to precipitate Armageddon and the Rapture. They fervently believe that mere men, possibly at this point the most unholy of God's creation, constantly filled with doubt and flawed purpose, constantly seeking favour and redemption, can cheat a prophecy. They can, like overwinding a clock, force a divine mechanism. Can prophecy be so easily played? Can the predetermined timeline of eons put in place by the highest of celestial beings be gamed by unworthy man? Is it possible to rig our collective ascendance by killing each other, by extinguishing our divine spark, the very thing given to us by celestial beings? We can't even work out our past, let alone our future. This is the madness of men, and there is nothing of the divine about it. We are, as a species, deeply flawed. Just ask the dead. We're not going to kill our way to divine ascension. And that these powerful men like Vance admit their flaws before God under their faith, somehow they simultaneously believe that their flaws don't prevent them from being wrong in this most serious of matters. It seems to me the answer to all this isn't war and death. It's love. It's empathy. For my part, I prefer the idea that these aliens in their many forms are angels, they are demons, and just like us, have good and evil within them. This is a truth, I think, that the ancients knew even better than modern man, that the light and darkness exists everywhere, always, and the only thing that matters are the choices you make in the face of your individual faith. Humanity is on a long journey to understanding, and there are no shortcuts. I'm sure eventually we'll get there. That is, if Vance, Hesketh, and all their generals who are on this new crusade don't fuck it all up first. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like and subscribe, it really would help the channel. And until next time, bye bye.